Hey, what's going on, guys? Scapegoat here, and today we're going over my Phantom Knight deck profile. I won the last few locals, and I think I also got a second place in there in the last month with this deck. The deck's been running pretty great. This is post-Bode. Everything has been working out pretty great for it. I think if I make any adjustments, it's going to be after Brothers of Legend when Forbidden Droplets comes out. Otherwise, this deck's been really great. I've, like I said, won a few of the tournaments that I participated in, and I'm participating in a OTS regional this weekend, so hopefully if that goes well, I'll also put another deck profile up there with any changes that I've made. But for that being said, this is my Phantom Knight deck profile. It's been running very well, and let's just get into it. So 3 Torn Scale, 3 Boots. I think these are always good at 3. I run 2 Cloak. It's not really one I want to open with, and if I do, usually just with the Boots to help, combo off, or another level 3 extender. But more so, I prefer these at 3 and then Cloak at 2, and might even drop down to 2 to 1 in January when the new token stuff comes out. And for standalones is Gloves and Greaves. Greaves is pretty cool. He can special summon out if you special summon a Phantom Knight, and also in Grave he can let you summon out one of the ones that you can't really summon from hand at that time, so that's pretty cool. And Gloves is just Foolish Burial, and then it has a very niche Exceed effect if you can get that off. We have Tour Guides. I played at 3. Very good card, 1-card combo to help you get into your combos. Hand Traps. We have Ash Blossom and Double Nibiru. I'm using Nibiru more so as a cross-out designator target, but also there's a lot of decks in the meta that are affected by Nibiru. And then Ash is still one of the greatest hand traps. So depending on what I'm playing, maybe Flunderies, I might side these out. But for the most, I usually keep them in because I also don't really want to get Nibiru, but there's also play in this deck where you can kind of play around Nibiru. Double Kagemusha Knight, it's not really a card I want to see at 3, but it's kind of a card that I might Rota if I have a Tour Guide, so I can just kind of summon off of this or anything else. So it's one of the better extenders, I think, because you can chain block with it. 2 Burning Abyss cards are Graph and Seer, they're part of the combo, and if you open them up, they're not too bad because you can still summon them out to help you extend, but it's kind of a pain. I don't like any other of the BA monsters like Libic or Skarm. I think this is just enough. You don't want to have too many cards to help break your deck. You want to open combo pieces, and the more non-combo pieces in your deck, the worse it's going to get. So the 2 danger monsters, Snake and Jackalope, off the discard effects, you can get their effects, so that's pretty cool. So they'll act as like a free extender. But you can always just discard this. If this gets picked out, you can get the Snake, and then Snake will just come out no matter what. Plus you get the free draws off it, level 3 to help you start off your Cherubini play. Same with these, the Psychic package. They pretty much do the same thing. You're just summoning them out when you have a 3 on the field and making Cherubini, or using it to make other Link monsters. I play Celestial and Plasma. Plasma's pretty good in this deck because you can get the monsters out and kind of summon it just to have a skill drain out on the field. I do think Dasher might be what I want to be playing. I don't have my Dasher right now, otherwise I'd be playing it. I'm pretty sure I'll have it for Saturday, so I'll be trying it with that. It's a free, summon every turn, as long as I don't Celestial away the target. But Celestial is definitely one you'll play, and Plasma or Dasher is also an alternative. Dasher is just, pretty cool with the skill drain effect. And I main deck Scythe for the Dagda combo, and there's a pretty cool line of play where you can summon Scythe twice in one turn. I can probably go over that a little further into the video, but it kind of helps you play around Forbidden Droplets if your opponent decides to use Droplets on the Scythe. 3 Fusion Destiny for spells, just in case, opening it's pretty good actually. And it allows you to get another monster on the field like IP Masquerena, as well as, the DPE, which is always pretty cool. Or like any other monster you want to put on the board, but Masquerena seems like a better line of play to get to Unicorn. Crossout Designator to stop any of the hand traps that I play, or their Fusion of Destiny, Ash Blossom, Nibiru, sometimes even E-Telly, depending on the matchups I play, and maybe mirror matches where it's at, because I can negate a lot of those cards too. Double E-Tally for the Psychic package, pretty self-explanatory. It's a quick play, so if I do use Droplet, I can send this away for droplets to negate a card, which is really good. Call by the Grave, just to stop, hand traps, or do counterplays. There's also an out to DPE if you can bait out the DPE and then kind of call by the Grave it. Reinforcement of the Army, pretty much, an extender all on its own, or, to get any of your Phantom Knights or your other monsters. I only play one Droplets, but like I said, when Brothers of Legends comes out, that'll be a little cheaper. I might play two, but right now it's basically a designated target to banish my opponents. Otherwise, I can just use it. I've drawn it a few times to stop my opponent. So it's also, halves the attack, which is really great in case you can't get over certain cards. For traps, I play the 3 Fogblade, which have been really good. Fogblade just seems a little more better in terms of negating cards as opposed to the other Phantom Knight cards. And, special summoning from Grave's really cool too. And the last trap is the Shade Brigadine. Part of your combo, you play one, you kind of set it off first from Rusty, so you can go off into Apollosa or Dagda. So that's the main deck. For the extra deck, I have the Link Spider to go off to make an effect monster. Link to Anaconda, Cherubini, IP Masquerena, Artifact Dagda, which is a really cool card. When you summon it and you activate an effect on the field, or an effect on the field's activated, you can get one of your artifact cards from your deck to your field, which is great because DPE combined with this, you can pop the Scythe and then special summon it back, and that kind of locks your opponent out from there. There's also a secondary effect where if this card is destroyed, you can special summon an artifact from your graveyard. So combined with DPE, you can also use this as well to pop it to get Scythe back, but we can look into that combo a little bit later. You have Rusty Bardiche, Nightmare Unicorn with the IP Masquerena, which is pretty much the only other card you want to summon off of Masquerena because it's an interaction. Link 4s are Apollosa, Access Code, and Boral Sword. I still like Boral Sword just because if all this stuff's not enough, I still actually have something at least I can do. And with all the revival traps in the grave, I can special summon a Phantom Knight, and at least I can do about like 6,500 damage with that alone. But usually just summon it for game. And the same with this for game when you can try to do it. This also can bait out spell and traps if you need to. Spell and trap decks. Trap decks are a very tough matchup for Phantom Knight because they have to play around hand traps as well as traps. Leviair the Sea Dragon, the Phantom Knight Breaksword. I only play one. I haven't really needed a second one. Usually I can just go into Leviair and get an extra material during my combo, and then I'll have the Breaksword for later. Or vice versa, if I can set up the Scythe play, I use this to kind of help with that. Downward Magician to go over the materials to make for the Zeus, and then DPE is one of the best cards in the deck as of recent. It's very helpful. You can pop your Fog Blades, pop a card in the field, and use your Fog Blade to special summon cards or dead cards, pop them, pop itself. It's just really good. And then the materials off Celestial, you can banish and draw 2 cards, which has been very helpful. So side deck, Lancia for like Tri Brigade or any other decks, mirror matches. Just decks that'll banish or prevent you from banishing, and also it helps for cross-out designator target. So if my opponent is trying to Lancia me, I can Lancia them. Use cross-out designator to stop their Lancia. Also with Dagda, Dagda can special summon these out to you in case I want to use these actively, combined with DPE. So that's very helpful. Droll and Lockbird, good for Flunderies, good for any other deck that searches. Very helpful card. I think Drytron is also good against. Yeah, it's still pretty good. I played it too because I don't want too many in my hand. Most of these cards I do play it too because I don't want to have too many, openers that aren't part of my combo. So I try to cover a lot of ground while also just playing 2-ofs. Token Collector for Sword Soul and maybe Nibiru if that happens. Twin Twister just for back row decks. This deck has a trouble with back row. Also, just other problem cards too. double impermanence in case, you know, I get impermanence, or if I need to do it to a Flunderies player or a deck that just relies on their one card to go off. So goes a match for decks with multiple attributes, just to lock them into the one. So there's some decks, I think Sword Soul is one of them, where they have multiple attributes, and then some other decks, you know, that it's pretty good against. I like it. It's like a surprise factor. Nobody's really expecting it. And it's good against a few decks in the meta. And it's a good going first card. I don't really have too many of those aside from Imperial Order. Definitely another good card. And then Red Reboot. This is, we were playing a combo deck. We want to break boards. This card is a really good card. And I can pretty much clear a board after I Red Reboot. And, you know, the trap cards are very problematic for Phantom Knights. We can't play through a whole board without stopping it. So that's pretty much the whole deck profile. The combo I did want to show off, if you don't mind sticking around. So Scythe was part of it, and let's say you have a Fogblade Engrave with Breaksword. You have like Rusty, Bardiche, Dagda, and TP. So some lines of play will allow you to get, you know, the Fogblade Engrave with the Breaksword, which you can do, you know, with your regular combo with maybe an extender or two. You can have Dagda on board still. Usually sometimes you'll use it for part of the combo to put an Apollosa on board, but you can still sometimes have the Dagda on board along with this if you really need a way to summon two Scythes. So it would be your opponent's turn. And let's say you have this open slot right here. You can banish your Fogblade to special summon the Breaksword. Rusty will activate, popping the face down. It'll go to grave and activate. Scythe will come out. Scythe will attempt to activate its effect, and let's say our opponent Forbidden Droplets is here right here, and they only want to, you know, negate the one card, so they negate the Scythe. After that, you know, we can activate DPE. DPE can target the Dagda and the Scythe. They'll both go to the graveyard. Dagda will activate to special back the Scythe. Scythe will activate again, and then this time hopefully they have no way to negate anything or any of the interactions that we just did. Scythe will activate, locking them out. And we still have a Rusty, we still have a DPE for the following turn. If they try to destroy it, it's just going to come back. We have Breaksword as a beater. We have Rusty as a method to, you know, send stuff to the graveyard and fuel it for the next turn. And then, you know, all of these can go to the grave and like some Breaksword, not Breaksword, Boral Sword if we need to, or any other, you know, type of way we want to win, just depending on what we do for the following turn or what resources we have. But yeah, I think like 3-card combos, 4-card combos can like pretty easily do that play. But for the most, you're ending on a face down Scythe with a 3 to 4 material Apollosa with a DPE and a Rusty, and maybe even sometimes another Exceed monster, depending if you want to play Redoer or something, or just keep a Leviair on board. There's rare occurrences where that happens, or like if you already open Fusion Destiny, just so you're able to do that. But yeah, I actually just picked the deck up this month, and you know, it's been performing really well. I have to thank Julytcg. He's one of the better Phantom Knight players that I've been watching. You can go check out his channel below. Definitely a big help for the Phantom Knight community. It's definitely a really good deck right now to practice and pick up. And once January or February comes, I think it's January, the new token cards are coming out, which will boost this deck quite a lot. So you definitely want to pick up all this stuff now while you can, because that deck's just going to get even more busted by the time those come out. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out Julytcg, and wish me luck in the OTS regional that I'm going to be qualifying in this Saturday, and hopefully we can do another deck profile if I do well in that event. So thank you very much, and hope you guys have a nice day. Bye.